Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the Spooked Girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the 3 Spooked Girls, stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you along with the Spooked Girls. Bring on the slaughter, we on that haunted ground. Spooked Girls. The 3 Spooked Girls.
Hey there, Spooksters, and happy Halloween. This is Jessica, and I am joined by my favorite ghoul friend, Tara.
Happy Halloween, Spooksters.
Today is one of our favorite days of the year because it is Halloween, but we're also reading scary stories coming from you for our listeners episode.
Woo!
We're excited because we haven't done a listeners in a couple of months. When Tara was like, we have so many stories to choose from, I was like, what? It was like 21 pages. I was like, dear God.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone who submitted a story. If you want us to read one of your stories here on the podcast, please send it to 3spookedgirls@gmail.com. It's the easiest way for us to keep track of them. If you send them to other places, we lose them. We apologize. But send them to the email and then to the Gmail or the email, just depending on which you subscribe to, because apparently there's a video out there saying that you can't send email from Gmail.
What?
Have you seen that video?
No.
It's hilarious.
What the fuck?
Please, everyone, look on TikTok or Instagram. There's a woman who legitimately believed, or like this, if it's a skit.
I hope so.
I hope it's a skit, that she could not send an email because she had a Gmail account.
Oh, was she like older?
No, she like younger than us.
Oh.
Or at least our age, if not younger. Like, I was like, this is, yeah, it gave very boomer energy. I was like, no, she's like, they're different letters. And her reasoning was, it's like when you send something in iMessage and then you send like an SMS.
Like a text, yeah.
Yeah, with an Android. I'm like, they're the same things. They just run on different platforms. That's all it is. Like an iMessage is still a text message.
Literally. And you can now do read receipts for both. So
right.
It makes it even better. And I'm like, you can do that on email too.
Right.
Interesting.
Everyone take a deep breath. But yeah, please send it to our Gmail from your email. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tara, and she's going to read our first story of Halloween.
Yes. I also have to say, everyone started upping their email subject line like titles, so I love this.
I know you've included them. I'm like, this is great. I love this.
I had to. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Okay, this whole thing is just giving me so much life. Okay, so our first story comes from Courtney. Her subject line reads, listener encounter, a baby, a black shadow, and Blockbuster. I had to snatch it because of Blockbuster. I was like, mine.
I love it.
I'm all about like nostalgia right now. So like,
I love it.
I don't know. It just made me happy. So she writes, I'm a relatively new listener who has been binging older episodes for the last month or so, but I feel like y'all are old friends as you literally could be spiritual doppelgangers for my best girlfriend and myself.
Aww.
That being said, I thought I would share my experience of living in a haunted house. So back in 2003, 2004, I was 21 years old and a single mom. I lived in a smallish house in a town here in Southeast Alabama. My son was around 2 years old at the time this all takes place. The first thing I recall happening was the time he and I were in the living room and he was playing with his toys. Suddenly, he got up and he walked into our kitchen. As he entered the kitchen, he stopped, looked down the hall to the right, and waved. I asked him who he was waving at, and he told me, Buddy. Oh, great. I can't get away from creepy imaginary friend stories because, like, those of you in book club, you know that that's what October's book was incidents around the house. And I'm just like, I can't escape this trope now. But it's not a trope because it's Courtney's life, but you know. So I shrugged it off as him just being silly. Several other times he would talk to or about Buddy. Eventually, things would happen that made it clear it was not him just being silly. One afternoon, I left my son napping in the living room and I decided to take a quick shower. I hadn't been in the shower long when I heard the cabinet doors in the bathroom opening and closing, which was weird because I hadn't heard the bathroom door open or close. I peeked out, figuring I would catch Kyle getting into mischief, only to see nothing. Okay, what the fuck? I wrapped up in a towel and went to check and discovered my son sound asleep in the living room. Nope, bad news.
Scary.
Exactly where I had left him. It creeped me out a little, but I shrugged it off and nothing much else happened. Until the night I walked down the hall to go to bed. Oh my gosh, why are halls like the happening place for ghosts all the time? I guess they like halls. I don't know.
Maybe it's like a confined space. So it's like easier for them to like pull their energy together.
It's like cozy.
They're like, this is my hallway.
As I passed Kyle's room, I saw out of the corner of my eye a tall, black, shadowy figure standing behind the rocking chair next to his bed. My heart immediately started...
No, thank you.
I don't like. My heart immediately started racing like a methed up racehorse. I mean, valid.
Stop it.
I just love the description.
It's valid.
I told my two best friends about it, and they both had different points of view on the subject. One thought that I was simply letting my mind play tricks on me. The other, Jackie, immediately said I should sage the holy hell out of that place and line the windows and doorways with rock salt. The last part of the story shows that Buddy didn't take too kindly to Jackie's line of thinking. In addition to being best friends since we were 13, Jackie and I also worked at our town's Blockbuster Video together. One night while I was working, I asked if she would run to my house and grab something I had forgotten. She was less than enthused to be going to my house alone at night, but because she loved me, she obliged. When she returned to Blockbuster with whatever trivial thing it probably was that I needed, she was shooketh. At my house, she unlocked the front door and discovered she couldn't get in. The door was blocked. She pushed and shoved and eventually was able to open it enough to squeeze by and found that my son's big, bulky wooden high chair had been moved in front of the door, which was impossible because the front door was the only way I got in and out of my house. Both the garage door and the door to the backyard were kept locked, as I had dogs that went in and out of the safety of the garage to the backyard. Not long after this, the man who is now my ex-husband moved in with my son and I, and Buddy disappeared. I always chalked it up to he moved on because we had someone else looking after us. In hindsight, he was probably scared off by the type of person my ex turned out to be, and that's a horror story of a different type. Thank you for listening to my rambling tale of the supernatural. Attached is also a picture of the layout of my old house in case my description was confusing. No, you totally did it. And I put it on here on our document and stuff.
I know, I had to scroll down to like look. I was like, oh.
Man, Buddy was like living their best life because that's a really big hallway.
Right? Buddy had like a lot of territory.
Yeah, he did.
So my first story of today comes from Carol, and her subject line was, my encounter with a shadow lady. Hello, my spooky girl.
That was genuine, by the way.
I know. Sometimes Sarah and I just crack each other up. We're just like, hello, my spooky girls. I wanted to start off by saying I love you both so much, and the show has gotten me through some things. I'm a new listener, but I've listened to almost all the episodes on Spotify and decided to share my story. So I guess I'm going to jump right into the story now. So me, my boyfriend, and our 3 boys, all under the age of 7. Oh my God, that's a lot of boys.
Yeah.
All under the age of 7, all that energy.
You saint.
Very much so, Carol. We were looking for a place to rent, but wanted to kind of live out in the country, so we found a place in Greenback, Tennessee. It was a little trailer park about 20 or so minutes from the nearest grocery store. That sounds like where I grew up. Granted, we had a grocery store, but it was just too expensive to shop there.
Usually how it goes.
Surrounded by cow pastures and horses, my dream growing up. We had to go in what would be the back door, and when you walked in, the adult bedroom was on the right, and there was a bathroom. And on the left was the kids' room and a little hallway that led into the living room and kitchen. So there weren't many places to hide. So a few days before my encounter with the shady lady, I had went to bed before my boyfriend because, well, he's an insomniac. I hear that. I know sleep. He went outside and saw who he believed to be me crossing in front of the window that was in the living room. He came inside and I was still sound asleep, but didn't wake me up. I mean, I do that. I don't wake people up when I see ghosts. Rude, they're sleeping. The next morning, he told me about it, but I just brushed it off. Literally, there's an emoji of the hand slap, the forehead hand slap. I love it. Thank you for that. It makes me giggle. So a few days later, I'm alone in the kitchen making a snack for me and him while he stepped out to smoke. While we had a spare twin bed propped up against the island that separated the kitchen and the living room, and on the other side of this was a pantry and a fridge and more counter space where I was standing. Well, out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone walking rather quickly towards the island, and I looked over just as the person who was getting to the island to see a completely black figure with long hair coming straight at the island and disappeared before she knocked the mattress down. And no, the mattress could not have fallen over. It was wedged between the countertops and the floor. I quickly hopped straight outside and told him what had happened, and he had to come back inside because I wasn't going to be in there alone. I saged the whole house the next day and told her to leave, and we never saw her again. Thanks for reading my story. Y'all are amazing. Carol. Thanks, Carol. I like that Carol went straight to it. She was like, you know what? I'm not going to fuck around and find out. I'm just going to sage this place and be like, be gone.
Smartest decision.
Carol took action.
I love it. All right. So our next story comes from a spookster who's shared stories with us previously. This story comes from Lindsay. Lindsay writes, "Hey witches, I'm back. Sorry it's been over a year since my last write-in, even though I said I would write in again soon. That depression and life, am I right? Yes, we totally understand. Don't worry. So to start, the last time I sent in a story, Jess had asked a question about a chain on the door. Just a refresher, at my old house, the chain lock on the door started spinning in front of my mom. And Jess, you had said, did it spin in circles on the wall or like dangling and doing circles? Okay, yes, because we were like, what the fuck is this ghost doing? And my mom had said it was against the wall as if somebody had their finger pressed against it and was making circles with it. And then she put Jess, and I'm laughing because okay, she made the face you thought she was going to make, Lindsay, because the next sentence says, yes, Jess, ew, I don't like it either.
So, no, it's just like, it's like one thing.
She knows us.
Yeah, it's like one thing if the ghost just like knocked into it and it was just like kind of swirling like a little circle dangling down. But the fact that it's like someone took it and was like, like making Ferris wheels on the wall. No, thank you.
No. So let's dive into my new house that I moved into. So the new house didn't start out seeming weird. It was pretty nice, fixed up, finished basement. No one that we could hear talking to us from under the stairs like the old house. Improvement. But as we got older, things started happening, like shadows walking down the hallway, upstairs and downstairs, and just weird sounds of things moving quite often. It actually got to the point I slept with the radio on every single night until I moved out at 18, just so I wouldn't hear the noises at night. One of the things that we found out was that there was an elderly lady living in our house and her son was living there as her caregiver. One day, he was walking into her bedroom at the very back of the house, and as he grabbed the door, he dropped dead of a heart attack in the hallway. So quite often, while growing up, my brother, mom, and I would all see someone standing outside the bathroom doorway in that hall watching us as we got ready. Oh my God, this is like giving me like the Others vibes, you know, when the ghost didn't know they were dead. Mm-hmm. What if he doesn't know he's dead? Oh my God, that's so sad. It was very, very common for my mom to hear my brother or myself yell, fuck off and stop watching me. I love this. As a mom, I'd be like, say that. Yes.
I just love that this is the norm for them, that they're like, the ghost is watching me. And you just hear like little Lindsay down the hall, fuck off, stop watching me.
Yeah, fucking creep.
Stop being a weirdo, ghosty.
About a year after moving in this house, my dad passed away. I was 7. He was a trickster in life and death. I will definitely send in some of the things that we know my dad has done. After that, on nights when my mom would be alone, she would notice the shadow kind of peeking in her room at her, not menacingly, but just kind of checking in on her quite often. And as I got older, I started noticing it more and more, so long that I'm 24. I'm pregnant, and so is my brother's wife at the same time. We get a call that my mom has fallen over the dog and hurt herself on one of those old giant speakers that we had in the 80s and 90s. Those things are like fucking solid. Oh, the ones that were bigger than we were, and when the speakers broke, our dad would tear it open and fix it with nail polish. Turns out she was actually drunk and she just tripped and fell and didn't want to admit that she was wasted, and we found out. But lo and behold, this fall happens to get her to the doctor to find out that she has fibroids in her uterus to the point where it was literally killing her, and she never would have known in time unless she had gone to the doctor. The doctor had said to her that they were so bad that they had been growing since I was probably 8. That's scary.
Oh, Jesus.
It ended up being really scary. She almost bled out and died a few times and had to get blood transfusions, and it was a big deal. But ironically, after her surgery, which went very well, she healed up, and we have never seen that guy peeking in on my mom anymore. So I almost wonder if he knew something was wrong with her, and because he was just there taking care of his mom, he decided to look after my mom. This is just our nice ghosty. We also have a shadow man downstairs and the creepy old lady. Before I go, though, I'll share the first thing that my dad did after he passed away. So my mom's birthday is on December 13th, and my dad passed away on December 3rd. The entire day of my mom's birthday, mind you, this is 1998, our phone had the extension in use light on. Now, for you youngins who probably don't know what I'm talking about, back in the day, we used to have phones that were plugged into the wall, not cordless, but an actual giant phone like you see in offices, and there was a little red light on the top of it that if any of the other phones were being used, that little red light lit up. If you were a kid during that age, you also know how to hide it so that light was not on so that your parents didn't know you were talking on the phone in the middle of the night. Or risk them picking up the other line. So for the entire day of December 13th that year, our phone didn't work and the light was on. We even unplugged every phone and called the phone company. The guy legit told my mom there was nothing I can find wrong with your phone. I can't even charge you for this visit because this is an act of God. Everything went back to normal the next day. I'll wrap up for now, but I promise I'll be back with more in less than a year's time. I love you ladies so much. Thank you again for everything you do and everything you both are. Aw. Lindsay. He just wanted your mom to have like as peaceful as she could have birthday. He didn't want people bugging her. I feel like that's why he did that.
Exactly. I love that. I also like that the guy that came out to look at the phone was like, well, I can't even charge you for this because, like,
I don't know what's happening.
There's nothing wrong with it.
That's a nice dude.
Yeah, because, like, most today people will be like, I still have to charge you. Our next story comes from Michaela, and the subject line was, a haunting or imagination gone wild. She says, hello, I wanted to start out by saying I love listening to your show. It is such a highlight of my week. Anyways, let's get into the story.
Thanks.
Well, we're glad we're a highlight of your week. My mom, brother, and I had been on our own, bouncing between small rental houses and my grandmother's house. But after my mom met my sister's dad, Sean, it seemed like we finally were going to experience some stability. In 2006, a year after my younger sister was born, we moved into a very large home in the center of town. On the outside, it looked a little rough, but inside it was beautiful, original hardwood floors and amazing woodwork with handcrafted archways. Even better, we all got our own room. It was a dream come true, or so we thought. I always think of like when people talk about like the exterior not matching the inside of how it looks. It's like think about that guy in Corning who like purposely made his house look like shit on the outside. And then his inside was like amazing
Right.
because he didn't want anyone to rob him. I was like,
Yeah.
The first few months we lived there, everything was great. We redid the basement. Oh, that's when things go wrong. That's not in here. That was just my own. We redid the basement, so we had even more room. New furniture had arrived for the living room, and we started to paint my room. My sister had just started walking and was transitioning to her own room, which was right next to mine. The first week, I remember hearing her wake up a couple of times throughout the night, as she normally would, and hearing my mother go to tend to her. She slowly started to sleep throughout the night, or so we thought. Oh my God.
I'm scared.
That's scary when you think the kid is asleep but not. Now, I was 9 years older than her and would babysit once in a while. And one night I remember putting her to bed, going back to the living room and turning on a movie to watch with my brother. I thought I heard something come from upstairs, so I went to check on my sister, and she was sitting in her closet staring at the window, whispering.
I don't like this.
I don't either. It's scary. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but I was pretty creeped out, to say the least, and brought her down to the living room with me and turned on cartoons until my mom got home. I mean, that's a valid response to be like, okay, shit's happening here. Let me remove the baby.
For real.
This is how the labyrinth started.
Oh my God, you're not wrong.
A few days went by without an incident, and I shrugged off what had happened to her, just having a bad dream. Then out of nowhere, Sienna, which I'm assuming is the sister, would start waking up around 3 a.m. every night screaming, "There's a man in my room."
Oh no.
Being the older sister, I would start to lay on her bedroom floor with her until she would fall asleep, but something always felt eerie in that room. I got to the point I'd bring her into my room and let her sleep with me at night because I didn't want her to be in there alone. We eventually moved out of the house with a fresh start after Sean and my mom divorced, but it was not a fresh start. But it was not the fresh start we were hoping for. Oh my God, Michaela, I'm scared for you. This house was This house was just as creepy as the last, but this time it wasn't Sienna's room, it was mine. My TV would flicker and turn off and on by itself, and the hangers would fly out of the closet. I had friends stay over and then not want to come back because the house creeped them out. Valid. I would have not come back too if I was like, could you imagine like slumber partying it and you're like in your sleeping bag and you're all like cozy and then a hanger flew out of your friend's closet? You'd be like, I'm going to get the fuck out of this bitch. You're like, ow. You're like, Michaela, stop throwing things at me. And she's like, it's my ghost. I'm sorry. That's so valid. I get it. My brother swapped rooms with me at one point because he thought I was exaggerating, but only lasted a week in the room. He was being scratched and would hear noises at night, and he ended up sleeping on the couch until we finally terminated the lease. Nothing happened that I was aware of after leaving this house, but we all still talk about these experiences. Oh, I get it. My mom has now confessed she did try to sage both homes as they didn't feel right, but it was all we could afford at the time. Now, my mom believes something is actually following her as she wakes up to voices and things moved around the house still to this day, but didn't want to mention these things to us when we were kids. Oh my God, your poor mother.
For real.
She's been talking about going to a medium to see if there's something truly attached to her.
See, this is why I don't want to go to a medium. I know too, I would love a reading from, but I'm scared.
Right? Because you're like, it's like one of those things where you're like, I kind of know, but I don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to know. Well, Michaela, I hope your mom finds some peace because, like, goddamn, your whole life. I don't know how old you are now, but your whole life, dear God.
But still, yeah.
Like, since 2006, that's almost 20 years.
Why'd you have to hurt my feelings? I don't want to think about that.
Because I hurt my own feelings every day with my age.
Oh, great. My turn. I suffer, so do you.
Pretty much.
Oh, God. Okay, so we have 2 extra stories. Normally we only do 4, but since it's Halloween, we're going to do 6. My last one of the episode comes from Heather, who is an OG Spookster. She's been here pretty much the whole time. So Heather wrote, "Hi Tara, Jess, Kate, and fellow Spooksters. I've been an OG listener and I love you girls. We love you. Okay, I have to preface this next sentence. This is her word for word. This is not me saying this, by the way, okay? Just saying that, Kate. I got my sister Stacy stuck on it. So Stacy, hi ho. I am not calling you a hoe. Your sister is.
Sister.
Had to say that.
I love this because you guys should hear, like, sometimes when Tara and I are, like, not recording and we're talking to each other, I'm like, well, whatever, bitch, like that. And she'll say it. I just love female dynamics that are just like, we're fine with this. We'll just be mean, but not mean.
Yeah. So first, let me apologize for anything grammar or spelling issues. I'm typing this up on my phone. I will not apologize for the length. Maybe it's too long, maybe not. Anyway, my husband and I got married in Virginia City, Nevada in 2017. Because of this, we take trips mostly at least once a year. We live near Yosemite National Park.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not too far from you.
That's not too far. And by the way, I have been to Nevada City and I have been to the silver mines there.
Ooh.
That's a trauma that just unlocked in my brain.
Oh.
I was like a kid underground. I was like, I don't think I like this.
Oh, no. Anyway, in June of 2021, we took a trip to get away since COVID was getting somewhat better, and I had been stuck on lockdown harder than the world due to being diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020 right before COVID. This trip consisting of myself, my husband, my 5-year-old, and my 11-month-old. Yes, I was pregnant during cancer and COVID. I remember that. Mm-hmm. My husband's family and some friends were coming as well. So we decided to rent a few rooms at the Silver Queen Hotel. For those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure Zach Bagel Bites, aka Zach Bacon's Ghost Adventures. Bagel Bites. I haven't done that in a long time. Oh my gosh, I love this. Did an episode on it, so haunted. I believe we had a total of 4 rooms with only one of those rooms being conjoined. We did this so I could sleep in bed with one kid and the husband can sleep with the other kid in the other bed, and we could keep our door open in case we needed each other. Smart.
That's smart.
My brother-in-law joined the family, but he got there super late and his wife and kids weren't going to be there until the next day. So we're hanging out in our room and his brother was taking a nap in the adjoining room. I decided I was going to get some pizza, but with an 11-month-old totally obsessed with me, I had to sneak out. So I snuck out of the room my brother-in-law was sleeping in while my husband kept the girls distracted in the other room. I go get the pizza and get back to the room. I use the key to the room my brother-in-law was not in, and I walked into my husband looking at the adjoining room. Oh my God. Sorry, I just creeped myself out reading ahead.
I hate when I do that.
I know, it's the worst. I walked into my husband looking at the adjoining room, then to me and the crying baby. Here's how the conversation went. Husband, were you just in that room? Me, no, the key is really hard to get into that room, so I purposefully took the key to this room. Husband looking back at the room, then at me. I just heard you call me from that room. Me, no, I didn't. Husband, she, the baby, heard it too. She started crawling over there and crying when she heard you. Me, what did I say? Husband, you whispered, husband. What? Ew, ew, ew. I don't like this. So my husband and I had been together for 10 years before we got married. On the day we got married, an inside joke was created and led to me calling him husband. To this day, I mostly only call him husband. Very rarely do I call him by his name or any nicknames. It's always husband, unless he didn't hear me and I use his full name. Now, my husband is the biggest skeptic and really only feeds my curiosity. Like, he literally bought me ghost hunting stuff because I always want to experience anything. Spoiler alert, nothing really ever happens to me. I have caught some EVPs, but never had an actual experience. Meanwhile, this skeptical asshole hears me whisper husband when I'm not even there. He was going to dismiss it if it wasn't for my baby hearing it as well and trying to crawl over to who she thought was me. I don't even want to know what would have happened if he had let the baby crawl into the room. Just saying. I do have another Virginia City story through one with the EVP. If you ever want to hear about that one, let me know. Maybe I can even send in the EVP. Oh my God. Yes, please. Yes.
Do it.
We haven't had an episode like that or a story like that ever. So yes, please do. For those of you curious ghouls, I'm 4 years of no evidence of disease. My baby went through 4 rounds of chemotherapy and 1 surgery with me. Mm-hmm. She's now 4 and we're both okay. Here's a friendly reminder to check your breasts early. Detection is key. Luckily for me, I had a hero, the baby, that made early detection possible. That almost made me cry. Jesus.
I know. Well, I mean, we've known of Heather for 6 years. We've known her this whole time.
Exactly. Anyways, that's my husband's story. Stay spooky and strong, girls. Heather. Yes, EVP story.
Do it. Also, I'm just like, the fuck? You had a mimic? Like,
Oh, see, okay, mimics scare me, and anytime I see videos pop up on Reels or TikTok, I'm like, goodbye, I believe you, but I don't want to listen to this, because there's someone that's
right.
And you know what, though? I'm so stupid. So, like, there's literally someone that's, like, has been documenting their mimic because they live in the Appalachian Mountains and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I follow her and everything, but it's like, it's so fucking scary. It is so fucking scary. Oh my God. If you have mimic stories, I'm sorry that you experienced that.
It's just so fucking scary. Yeah, no, I also went to Virginia City as a kid. My paternal grandparents were like, this sounds like a fun adventure. And we went. And
oh my God.
Yeah, I went into the silver mines and they were like, and they used to send canaries down here. And if they died, they'd pull the people back up. And I'm like, oh, cool. Only when the canary died. But yeah, no, it's like a old kind of westerny feel. I mean, I'll go with you if you want to go and experience some weird ghosty shit.
Maybe.
Tara's face was like, no, I don't.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared. I'm too magnety. Let's not.
But see, that's why I like going places with you, because you are the magnet. And I'm just like, can somebody pay attention to me? I'm so that like, why does nobody pay attention to me? And Tara's like, leave me alone.
I'm like, please go haunt Jessica's house.
We're the opposite side of these coins.
Yeah.
So my last story comes from Sarah, and the subject line says dream. So let's get into it. When I was younger, I used to watch the Montel Williams show all the time. And this was right after Montel Williams came out saying that he had multiple sclerosis and told everyone on his show that he had it. I dreamed that I got MS and that I would not be able to walk up the stairs anymore. I thought nothing of this for a very long time, but back in 2013, I was diagnosed with MS. I had thought to myself, I wonder if that dream I had all those years ago was trying to tell me something, but I can still walk now. Thank you for everything you ladies do to keep the podcast going. I love listening to you guys all the time and love your content. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Sarah. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
The last two stories are like my heart.
I know.
Well, with that, we're gonna sign off. I'm like, how do I make something happy so that you guys leave on a happy note?
It's Halloween. It's Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Or if you listen to this after, I hope you had a good Halloween. Show us your costumes. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, go to the post. I'm sure somewhere in the Facebook group we're having a costumes thread post.
Yes.
Like, do it. We really hope you had a wonderful Spooktober. And I'm just going to like drop a little like nugget hint here. Guys, we have so much stuff coming up planning. We're not telling you right now, but we'll tell you in the future. Just be excited because things are growing and we are so happy. And we'll probably tell you around the holidays, so it'll be like a little Christmas present to y'all. So
ooh, I like that. Yes.
Little holiday shenanigans for you. But if you're listening today, if it's October 31st, please have a very safe Halloween. Watch your surroundings. I know that there's no such thing as like the razor blade and the apple. Like that's not really happening. But like, you know, other things happen, and just be cautious out there in the world. And we want you all our spooksters to be safe, and we will see you next time, guys. Toodles.
Bye.